Okay, so now we have 4 more to do and then we're done with the lesson. And what I would like you to do is graph these particular lines. I do not know why that line is on there, but you can verify it when you go through and do your work. So let's see you set up and graph both lines, y equals 1/2 x plus 1 and y equals negative 2x plus 9. Have you graph them both and then find the solution set and check that solution set. So I'm going to do stop and start on my end. Go ahead. Okay, so first with the red line, y equals 1/2 x plus 1. The slope is 1/2. The y-intercept is 1. You know, as a huge hockey fan, every time I say the red line, I start thinking about something different. And then I spot the graphs and I begin at 1, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, and connect the dot. There's my red line. Now for my blue line, come on, I don't know why this isn't going off. It should be. Okay, so apparently it delayed, so we got to go over this all at once. Y equals negative 2x minus 9. Slope is negative 2. The y-intercept is negative 9, so we begin at negative 9. And if I was to go down 2 and over 1 to the right, I would be off the graph. So instead I went up 2 but over 1 to the left. Up 2 over 1 to the left, up 2 over 1 to the left. And again, drew the lines and I have them meeting at the point negative 4, negative 1. So now let's check it. And there's your check. Okay. All right. So let's check the next line for you to graph. Okay. Apparently the answer's already sitting there. I put it in a little early, I guess. Graph these 2 lines and show that they meet at the point 2, 1. Go ahead. A little stop and start on your end, and then I'll go over it in just a moment. Okay. So for the red line, y equals negative 3/2 x plus 4. Slope is negative 3/2. The y-intercept is 4. For y equals 2x minus 3, the slope is 2. The y-intercept is negative 3. Why does that say negative 9? Let's go through and go into making these slideshows. All right, make this a little bit wider here. There we go. That works that out. And this is negative 3. This all happens because I copy the previous I should have fixed the 2-1 while I was there too, but that's not such a big deal. All right. Oh. So y equals negative 3/2 x plus 4. The slope is negative 3/2. The y-intercept is 4. And for the blue line, y equals negative 2x minus 3. The slope is 2. The y-intercept is negative 3. For the red line, we begin at 4, which I did right here. Now I'm going to move down 3 over 2, down 3 over 2, down 3 over 2. For the blue line, I also have to connect the dot. There we go. For the blue line, I begin at negative 3. There I am. And then I go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. One more time, and I connect the dot there. And yes, indeed, these lines do meet at the point 2, 1. It is now time for me to check it, which I do. And I get plugging in a 2 for x and a 1 for y. 3/2 of 2 is... Oh, I'm sorry, negative 3/2 times 2 is negative 3, which it is, plus 4 is 1. So this first one checks. And then here, y equals 2x minus 3, x is 2, y is 1. So does 1 equal 2 times 2 minus 3? You bet. 1 equals 4 minus 3. That is correct. Okay, so we get checking, and checking is a beautiful thing. Okay, next up, go ahead. And look, I don't have any mistakes at the beginning. Beautiful. Only difference is now you've got to make the one on the left say y equals. So do that, graph it, and I will show you the correct answers in a few minutes. Find that solution to the simultaneous equations. Go ahead. Okay, so as we mentioned, I'm a little concerned that the first line doesn't say y equals. So I add 2x to both sides and I get y equals 2x plus 2. What does that tell me? It tells me the slope is 2 and the y-intercept is 2. On the next one, y equals negative x plus 8. What does that tell me? It tells me that the slope is negative 1 and the y-intercept is 8. So let's go back to the red line. We begin at 2, and then I go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and one more time and connect the dot, and there is my line drawn. Let's come back to that same idea that we emphasized earlier in the lesson. That red line is a picture of all the points that check or satisfy the red line equation. If it's not on that line, it does not check. Simple as that. If it is on the line, it absolutely checks. With the blue line, I begin at 8. And then I'm going to go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, because that's what the slope is, down 1 over 1, and I draw my line. And that is a picture of all of the points that check or satisfy the blue equation. This is your magic point right here. It's the one point that satisfies both equations. So I think that that point is the point 2, 6. Looks like I label it a little bit later, but I did put it in the check here. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4 plus 6 is 2. You bet. 2 is 2. And negative x plus 8, y equals. So y is 6, x is 2. So it's 6 equals negative 8 plus 2. You bet 6 is 6. And there is my solution labeled 2. It says 0.6, but it should be comma 6. Okay, so we got one more to do.